What's your minimum specification? So, speaking of personnel, at AMD, Jim was the boss, and Ljubisa was part of Jim's team. This time around, it's Ljubisa's the CEO, and Jim's the underling. How's that dynamic worked? Is it better, worse? How's it come across day to day?
Well, that's not an accurate portrayal of the way we have it set up. So we've been kind of we've agreed to do this thing as partners for the most part, uh, and that's how we've been doing it for the most part. So Jim's certainly not an underling to me. In reality, if anything, Jim's somebody that's senior to me in every way, conceivable. So I think it's cool that we're doing this in partnership, but really, like, if anybody's kind of taking direction at points of ambiguity, it's me. So
Well, yeah, I'd
it's
say it's
really
really
not all
different.
that different.
Ljubisa created Tenstorrent, and his team, his original founders, and then the core team. There's some really great people there, and we talked a lot about what we should do, and I think it would be absolutely great if we IPO and Ljubisa's CEO, and I'm supporting that, 100%, and we get along really good. We talk every day, and there's some things we divided and conquered. Like, he's been really focused on the software stack, and I was focused on the next generation part and the CPU we're picking. There's a bunch of architectural features that we kind of work. We get together and we talk about it, and we say, all right, you do this, I'll do that, and so far that's been working really well. There's some business stuff that I've been focused on a lot more, because I'm really interested in how this is going to go together and go to market. So, but yeah, and like with investors, we mostly both talk to them, and that's pretty good. And we cover different areas. So, so far so good.
So, I mean, that's actually quite good, because it leads on to me asking Jim exactly what you've been doing there for, the 4 or 5 months. Because at the point you joined, Wormhole was already in the process of, I guess, going to fabs, being taped out, I guess, or at least in the final stages of design. So in my mind, okay, you're working on
Wormhole's
next
been
gen.
back for a while, and it's up and running. It's beautiful. So,
Well, there you go. It's in my mind. Then that means that you're working on the next generation and the generation after that. But now you're telling me you're doing a lot of the business side as well, right?
yeah, I like
You'd be
context
really
switches.
surprised. Jim's a great sales guy. Like,
Yeah.
I always figured him to be a persistent, a persistent dude and somebody that knows technology cold. But frankly, I was surprised by his kind of level of comfort in these meetings with customers.
No, like I was at two startups where we had a really good team. We had a guy who could get all the doors open. We had me who was kind of talking about architecture. We had a software guy. We had a system board guy. And we just had a team. We'd go talk to people and go solve their problems. And when you do that, you learn a lot. Like, that's the thing I like. It's like, oh, that's what you're doing with our chip. Holy crap. We weren't thinking about that at all. So, like, I've been told at various points in my career, I should focus on the high level picture, managing it. But I always like to get into the details, because that's where you learn everything, and then you integrate that together and then do something with it. So talking to customers is fun, especially if they're smart and they're trying to do something new. And so I like to do that kind of stuff. But I like to work in partnerships. Like Pete Bannon and I have been working together on and off for 30 years. We worked on VEX 8800, EV5. We worked at Tesla, a PA Semi, and then Tesla, Apple. Jesus, how many places? Dirk Meyer and I worked on at Digital and AMD together for years. I play pretty well with others. So it's only recently that I found myself being like the VP. Raj and I worked together. He was at AMD and I was at Apple. We worked together. And then he came to Apple. And then I went to AMD. Then he went to AMD. And he went to Intel. And then I went to Intel. So, we worked on a whole bunch of projects together. So I'm pretty used to, I would say, intense intellectual collaboration. You're sort of good at different things. Like Dirk was way better at execution and details, and I would come up with crazy ideas, and he would look at me like, I don't know why you want to do that, but I'll try it. And We had a lot of fun, doing stuff. I wrote the hypertransport spec, and the original spec was like 16 pages. And I sent it to Dirk, and Dirk said, "Jim, I know how you think. You mind if I fill in a few details?" And like 3 days later, I got a 60-page spec back that actually
Yeah.
looked like something a human being could read. And it was like 100% right, because he actually did know how I thought, but he also knew what people needed to see in a spec. And, so I like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. It's really fun.
I think you have cultivated that image of mad technical scientists. Let's try a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So somebody else can fill in the details, but let's fill in a bunch of stuff. I mean, how often these days do you find yourself actually in the nuts and bolts of the design versus that more sort of
All the time.
holistic roadmap? All the
All the
time.
time. Yeah, I got I don't want to go into too many details, but when I was at Intel, people were surprised the senior VP was grilling people on how they managed their batch queues to run to the grid, or what the PDK qualification steps were, or how long the CAD flows took to run,
Yeah.
and like, or what the dense utilization was in the CPU, or how the register file was built. Like I knew details about everything, and and I care about them. Like I actually really care, and I want them to look good. A friend of mine said, if it doesn't look good, it isn't good. Like, so when you look at the layout of a processor, or how something's built, it's got to be great. And you can't make it great if you don't know what you're doing. You can't, if somebody gives you like the 5-level abstraction PowerPoint slide that said things are going good and we're improving things by 3%. Like I've been in meetings where somebody said it's 5% better, and I said, better than what? Better than last year, better than the best possible, better than your first grade project. And they literally didn't know what, they'd been putting 5% better on the slide for so long, they forgot what it was. So yeah, you have to get the details. If you're, going to be in the technology business in any way, shape, or form, and you can't get to the details. And I thought I was good at that. Then I met Elon Musk. Holy crap. For him, the details start at atoms. Maybe lower, I don't know, but like what he thinks is what I thought was first principle thinking wasn't close to first principle thinking. Then I got my ass kicked seriously about doing that, and it was really great. I really like to do that, and then I hope when I engage with engineering teams, they start to get that, oh, the engineering's fun, that the details matter, and there's an abstraction stack. There's the high level, there's medium, and there's a low level. And yes, you do need to know a lot about all of them, because then you can figure out how to fix things. You can't fix a computer too slow. Like you can't fix that. What are you going to do if it's too slow? But you could go into like 1,000 details, and there's all kinds of stuff to do if you know the details.